Mateer from the end zone. Launches down the far sidelines. Keeper. Mateer. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Pressure. Mateer. Escapes and slings it downfield into traffic. Catch. Here running all the way. Gets free. Mateer. Touchdown, that drive.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it.
Sean Mateer.
How about you?
Oh! Yo, welcome back to another episode of Dogs versus All Y'all, a college football podcast that doesn't just talk Georgia football. We talk all things college football, hence All Y'all. I'm Adrian, and I am joined by my brother here, our resident Alabama fan, Eric. How you feeling, man?
Well, if last week was doom and gloom and everybody needs to be fired, I guess this week is we're back and winning a natty in 6 days. So
hey, talk. That's why we record immediately after college football Saturday, so we can get those overreactions.
Well, the internet's full of them, especially when Alabama's bad. But then, apparently a 73-0 blowout wasn't an improvement. It wasn't, according to some fans.
Christ, man.
But we'll get into that.
No doubt. All right, but today's episode, we got a couple things we got to talk about. We got to talk about, obviously, that Alabama demolishing and making of quick work of ULM. And we got to talk about this dog fight that we had there in Athens against Austin P. And, a couple of my thoughts from it. We got some predictions for this upcoming week of games, and I'm going to give the hunting season 12. So if this is your first time checking us out, we appreciate it. Once again, we're college football fans, and we just like to talk about the sport that we love. So, Eric, I'm going to go ahead and start us off with our hunting season 12 to determine, in my opinion, who are the top 12 teams in the country.
We ain't getting hunted, guys. We're doing the hunting, and hunting season's almost over. We only got one more chance to hunt, and we hunted tonight.
Okay, so starting off the list is going to be the 1-3-0 team in the country, and that's Iowa State. I'm going to put them at number 12. Number 11 is going to be Notre Dame. I still like that team, even though they did lose in the opener, but I still like them. 10, Tennessee. They've been scoring a lot of points. Let's see, can they do that this weekend against my Dogs? Number 9, South Carolina Gamecocks. 8, Oklahoma, and my Heisman dark horse, John Mateer. Number 7, good old Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns. Number 6, Miami, my guy Carson Beck, slinging the ball everywhere. Number 5, my Georgia Bulldogs. Number 4, LSU. Number 3, Oregon Ducks. Not too many people are talking about them, but they are a good team. Number 3, number 2 is going to be Penn State. And number 1, The Ohio State University. So, Eric, those are my top 12. What are your thoughts?
Well, I see you done kicked 3 out, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Shout out Arizona State losing to
Mississippi State. They brought it. Yeah.
How about them Bulldogs, man?
Yeah, I like that. I like that game.
And then we kicked Clemson out after that struggle bus with Troy.
Yes.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you kicked us out, but I mean, that was very, very valid. So I'm not going to be mad at that. I think
it's a lot of teams like in that 13 to 15 to 17 range, and you guys are one of them. Florida State is realistically number 13 in my book, and Clemson's right behind them. So yeah,
I like the rankings. I think I told you had Clemson a little overrated.
I think Clemson still. I don't know, man. I still like what Clemson has, I do think that injury to Antonio Williams has kind of derailed that passing offense because he was their guy. He was their guy.
Fair.
And you can tell, as like I said when they played LSU, as soon as I saw Antonio Williams not out there, I said he's screwed. He's basically screwed. So, that's really my hesitation at this point. My question is, if Antonio Williams is out there, they would be in my 12th.
For sure. And shout out Iowa State. I told you yesterday, that's a team that looks very, very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a mid-12 team, but
Super mid-12.
They've beaten a rival. They've beaten a top 25 K-State team.
That K-State team is
awful.
Yeah, they're all over the place there. I don't know about them at all.
But shout out to Iowa State. The Cyclones doing what they need to do, and they have a very favorable schedule the rest of the way. I think they only play one more top 25 team if Arizona State's even in the top 25 after this week.
They should be. They should be.
Although I don't know, losing to Mississippi State is just it's kind of a death blow sometimes. So
that's a challenging place to go play at. And I will give, it was kind of cute seeing Arizona State try to prepare for the Cowbells with those little bells that they were having, but it was like, nah, this is two different levels, brother.
You can't replicate Stark Vegas, brother. That's one place that I hate playing.
Mm-hmm. It's always a challenging game. And shoot, we go there this year. So
good luck.
Yeah. All right, so that's our top 12. Comment down below. Let us know where I got it wrong in that top 12. Should Clemson still be a top 12 team? Let us know in the comments. We're very interested to hear your thoughts. So, Eric, let's go ahead and get into these post-game thoughts. Obviously, you're our resident Alabama fan. Like I've already told you, I only watch maybe the half of the first quarter of your game. And I was like, yeah, this isn't worth me really watching until later in the week. It's not a priority watch. But I can understand, especially after this whole week of, doom and gloom in your fan base, that you thoroughly enjoyed this waxing. So the floor is yours, sir.
Well, I knew it was going to be different when we came out and scored an opening drive touchdown and then immediately didn't give up an opening drive touchdown. So shout out to the defense there. Just some stats for you. Ty Simpson was 17 for 17 with 226 yards and 3 tutties. Saw some relief from Austin Mack, 8 for 10 for 80 yards and 2 tutties. Got Keelan Russell in the game, who I am very, very, very high on. 4 for 6 for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, you can also add a rush for a touchdown on Ty Simpson.
Yeah. I saw that one. Yeah.
I loved watching that. And I mean, we spread it around. AK Deer, 76 yards and a touchdown. I think he's like our 5th string. Shout out to Kevin Riley. Kevin Riley looks phenomenal.
Yeah, Riley's good.
I am very interested to see what that running back room looks like when him and Jam are back together. Shout out to Jeremy Bernard. Again, shows up, shows out. Gotta love him. Isaiah Horton finally got involved in the passing game after an injury scare last week. 51 yards and a touchdown. But my most interesting player on offense was Latsier Brooks. Kid has speed. And,
who is he?
So he's a freshman. I believe he came from he's somewhere up in New Jersey, I think.
Okay.
His speed reminds me a lot of Henry Ruggs. Hopefully it's a little bit
behind the wheel or
no, on the field. Behind the wheel, the only thing that can rival Henry Ruggs is Athens. But he looks fast. His decision making is great. His cuts were clean. And I mean, I what just happened there? I know that, you know, it's I don't want to say inferior talent, but it is.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. But it was a get right game.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a get right game. I am thoroughly impressed with what I saw. They took all of the criticisms and it pissed them off. And thank God it did, because if we had a team that came out and looked the exact same as it did last week, I had questions. If we had a team that did not show up with fire in their soul, I had questions. But fortunately for us, unfortunately for Louisiana Monroe, they showed up, they showed out, and that was the largest win in Alabama history since like 1951. All of these people that are comparing DeBoer to Saban, this is something Saban didn't even do. I am sick and tired of hearing that. Well, DeBoer's not Nick. DeBoer's lost 4 unranked teams. It took Nick Saban 15 years to do that. They're two different people.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick Saban is not Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. The sooner that we realize that, the quicker that everybody will be happy. This is a team going through growing pains with a new coach that is in a new environment. There are going to be struggles. We saw it last week. Now, everybody wants to talk about that was the first the first loss in opening day since like 2000. That was also the first away game that we've had opening day since 2000. The last loss was to Oklahoma in 2000 on the road in Norman. If that's played in a neutral site, entirely different outcome potentially. You don't know. At least they might have looked less rattled. But shout out to them. They did exactly what I asked them to do. They showed me that they're still fighting this team, and that's all I care about. As long as they fight and they prove it and they want to be there, I'm good. I'm good.
I feel that. But do you think that the concerns of your defense coordinator, your concerns of your quarterback play, and your concern of ultimately the leadership of your coach, do you think that they're less valid after this weekend?
Ty, I believe, yes. I believe I made a snap judgment on Ty.
Good. I'm glad you said that.
I think he was rattled in Doak Campbell, and I wouldn't blame him. That is a hard place to play.
They were rocking.
Yeah. They had just come off a 2-10 season, and they have an entirely new team, and there's hope, and they wanted to believe. So the fans were going absolutely banana. So shout out to that crowd at Doak Campbell for rattling Ty. But he looked more comfortable. He looked way better of a decision maker. And the look of lost in his eyes just wasn't there this week. Now, for defense, it's Louisiana Monroe.
Right.
I can't make a snap judgment about the 3-3-5 off of a Sun Belt team. Now, do I think it looked better? Absolutely. We'll see against Wisconsin, and then in 2 weeks against y'all. DeBoer, I never was sour on DeBoer. I believe his leadership is fine. We'll see. But I'm fine with Kalen. I'm still fine with Kalen. I'm still rocking with Kalen. Nick Saban wouldn't have let somebody take over his program if he wasn't fine with him. So there's something there that Nick saw and liked. So I'm good.
That's fair. That's fair. I meant my only concerns really about that team or Alabama, and I'm saying as concerned as someone that watches Alabama football, is the defense and whether or not Kane Womack is the actual guy. I have concerns or questions about Kalen ultimately, about how disciplined of a team that is, how disciplined of a team he's run in the past. I do have those questions and concerns, but it's not nearly as much of a concern as I have for that defense coordinator. I think that's like the glaring. I don't know if he should be here. That's the question. It's very similar. It's very similar. Like here in Athens, Mike Bobo. Like that's the big elephant in the room with Athens. Like should Mike be there? It is growing more and more concerns and all of that going, and I just feel that same way about Womack.
And I feel like that's a fair assessment because when we hired Kane, I think you and I talked about a 3-3-5 SEC defense, and it's like, is that going to be able to run in the SEC?
I kind of understand having it because so many offenses are running these RPOs spread type situations where it's a defense that causes issues for those kind of offenses, but it does lend itself potential issue in stopping the run consistently. So,
which is what hurt last week because our best pass rusher was hurt. So
right,
or not pass rusher. I'm sorry, run stopper. Shout out to Keenan. I feel like with a 3-3-5, as long as you have a guy that can stop it, it's doable. As we saw last year, the defense started off really, really bad.
Yeah.
And eventually made its way into being a decent defense.
Oh, for sure. Like statistically, y'all look good.
Right.
Box score watching. But if you were watching the games, it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as in stopping drives and stuff like that Oklahoma game in particular, it was like, there were times where it should have been a 3-and-out. It should have been 3-and-out, but they were extending the drives. And that's where my concern, if I was an Alabama fan, that's where my concern would be. My concern wouldn't be on Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson's been in your program for long enough. He understands what's going on and what's being asked of him. And like we've said in the offseason, once Kalen DeBoer decides that's his guy, that's his guy. So like any of the talk of, hey, send out Austin or send out Keelan, like, nah, y'all wasting energy even saying that. Ty Simpson's your guy, for better or for worse.
It was interesting, though, that they had game planned for Austin Mack regardless of the score to come in the second quarter last night. I believe Jordan Rogers made mention of that. They had talked to Ty about that. I guess kind of similar to what happened 2 years ago at the USF game with Jalen, where Nick was like, "Look, man, we got to see what else is out there. We got to see if." I believe at the time it was Longren and Ty. Buckner, yes, thank you.
Yeah, it was Buckner and
it was Buckner
Simpson.
And Ty. Yeah. Dylan Longren, geez Louise.
He was in that group, but he wasn't out there.
I don't think he touched the field. Yeah,
no.
It was just, and it did the same thing. I feel like to Ty that it did to Jalen. It lit a fire under his ass
for sure.
And now we see 17 for 17 with 3 touchdowns essentially. So. Yeah. My concern's not with Ty. I did overreact on that. You know me. I'm a realist. I'm a fan that if I say something, I look at it, hey, I messed up. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not one of those Bama fans.
Right.
So, shout out Ty. I apologize for overreacting to you, and let's go out there and let's beat Wisconsin.
That's it. Week by week. But yeah, that was a great comeback game for you guys. Shout out to y'all. I still got to watch your game, so I can't even really brag too much about your game because after that, I didn't even watch the whole first quarter. Like once it got midway through first, I was like, yeah, I've seen enough. Thanks a lot, ULM, for giving me quality entertainment. But
We back.
no doubt. Same thing could be said about these Texas fans. What are your thoughts before we get into this Georgia game? What are your thoughts on Arch and what he wound up doing against Sacramento? Not Sacramento State. What was that? San Jose State or something?
Yeah. Hey, he looked the part. That's all I got. Like, I mean, he, again, same thing with Alabama. He took the criticism, he worked on it in the week of practice, and he improved. Can't even be mad at it.
That's a loaded team, bro. Like Texas.
Oh, it is.
Texas is a loaded team, and it was a lot of overreactions. While people, for some odd reason, not really acknowledging what kind of talent Ohio State has on the defensive side of the ball. So, I don't get it.
First start on the road.
Yeah.
At Ohio State. Like, it's not like these teams were playing at, like, Louisiana Monroe or at San Jose State. Like, they were playing a top tier stadium.
Right. Yeah.
You just don't go on the road in your first start and not be
just stroll in. You don't just stroll in there and put your feet on their couch and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of putting feet on couches and a team that seemed to be a little too lax in my book, my Georgia Bulldogs. This past weekend, we played against Austin Peay. And I'll be honest, Eric, the box score tells a different story than what that entire game was. Now, I will start off with love because that's how I try to. And I'm going to start off with some positives. The number one positive for me, Eric, is I truly believe Georgia has the best defense in the SEC conference. I think whether is scheme and recruiting at a high level like they've been doing kind of helps when you have a 4 or 5 star just on the sideline that you can just run on in there whenever. I think that helps, but I do think that Georgia has the best defense in the SEC. The opposition true enough, week 1 is Marshall. This week, it's the Govs, and neither one of them could really move the ball. They couldn't run the ball, and when it gets to throwing the ball downfield, it's few and far opportunities, and that's an encouraging point for me because while the offense is figuring things out, I need to know the defense is reliable to stop whatever the hell is going on. So, on a positive end for me, I think the defense came to play yesterday, even with that 2-hour halftime because of the weather delay, which was super weird. But defense came to play, and they're super talented, man. Like I've already said, we got the best linebacker room in the country. Like if you look at them from a pro prospect, we have that's my honest opinion. Unbiased in all opinion, but the defensive line did very good when it comes to playing smart, sound football and allowing those guys like Raylan Wilson and CJ to flow and stop the running backs. Like I want to say we allowed like 40 yards rushing yesterday, and that's including a scrambling running back who played in the SEC, who wasn't scared. And I will say, tip my cap to that young man because he played, he was smooth and steady throughout that game. So I will shout him out. Now, all that, and shout out to Brett Thorson, our punter, who came back from his injury last year. He did kick for us yesterday, and he made a couple good punts. So going into this weekend, I need him to be ready to rock and roll, and he looked the part. So I will say shout out to that. I will also say shout out to my guy Peanut, Dwight Phillips Jr., running back. He scored a touchdown last week. This week he didn't score a touchdown, but you can just see the difference. You can see speed. And I know you saw that all last night at Alabama with a number of your guys, but it's super strange. I'm not even going to say it's strange. It's bizarre even seeing a guy that much faster than everyone else.
Right.
And that's what Dwight Phillips is. So, and I just love how strong he is running the ball, because you would think the complete opposite. You would say, okay, he's a speedy guy. He's going to get taken down with an arm tackle, or he's going to be soft or weak or something like that. This guy's running through arm tackles. This guy's running tough, and you could tell he's put on a little bit of weight from last year. Strong runner, confident runner. I like Dwight Phillips Jr. And I almost want to start the maybe Peanut should be starting for us conversation. Ooh. But I still like Nate. I still like Nate Frazier. But Dwight Phillips is looking different, man. You can tell the difference. So I don't know. Maybe that's my overreaction, but that's what I got. Now, let's talk about the concerns. For me as a Georgia football fan, offensively, I'm not gonna say the fire Mike Bobo. I'm not gonna start that, because I've been a Mike Bobo fan forever. I've been a Mike Bobo fan since I was a kid and he was our quarterback. I've been a Mike Bobo fan since he was our offensive coordinator on the front end under Rick, in which he averaged over 40 points as an OC. So any of the talk of he's not capable of running an offense is kind of silly to me. And I've been a fan of him for the past couple of years as our OC this year, our past couple of years since Monk left for the NFL. My only questions and concerns really have to do with how we utilize Gunnar Stockton as quarterback. And I hate the talking point of, well, maybe they're being super vanilla because we got Tennessee this week and we don't want to give them film and all of that. I get that. I hate using that, but I kind of hope that was the case, because watching the game and watching what we were doing on offense, it did seem super vanilla. It did seem like we weren't trying to do too much. And the only reason why I say that is we only had like one design run for Gunnar throughout him being out on the field, which was unfortunately a majority of that game. We only had one design run, and that's not his game. So maybe they were saying, hey, you're going to stay your ass in the pocket. We don't want to risk you getting hurt prior to playing SEC conference play, which makes sense. But also, the guy kind of, the way his gameplay is, he kind of needs to be knocked down a couple times I don't know, get him mentally prepared to actually be a gamer type. He's not just a stand in the pocket and throw and deliver, that kind of thing. So statistically, he did good. He did decent. He was efficient, but there wasn't that many shots downfield, and he just seemed kind of late on balls, at least for me, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping that maybe they were just being super vanilla. I hate using that excuse, and maybe that's just a cope for me, but it seemed like they were being super vanilla looking ahead for Tennessee. So I don't know how much of our game were you able to catch, and what were your thoughts, Eric?
I watched most of it.
Okay.
I do have a couple of questions and or notes to piggyback off of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I do agree. Y'all do have the best defense in the SEC. potentially a top 3 defense in college football.
I think so. Yeah, I confidently think so.
You already know Philadelphia is about to take your entire defense in the next few years, so they'll make their home up there with everybody else.
Right.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs. We are officially 3.5 games into the Gunnar Stockton quarterback run.
Mm-hmm.
Is he your guy?
Man, I'm seeing a lot more of that conversation being opened up. And I don't know. My answer is I don't know. The way that I see Gunnar is I see him more of a gamer type quarterback. Maybe like it's not going to look good on film, but
it got the job done.
But it gets the job done. You know, it's that type of quarterback play that I see from him. You know, I don't like I think if you're looking for a technical display, you're not going to get that from Gunnar, especially coming off of 2 years of Carson, where like you look at Carson on film and you're like, yo, this guy is a pro quarterback, you know, that sort of thing. But Gunnar seems to be a little bit more of the gritty. And sometimes that concerns me because once you play against a certain level, that shit's cute and fine against lower competition. But once you're playing against a big dog, they kind of bottle that up.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he's the guy. I know I'm seeing a lot more people talking about Puglisi and all of that. I'm going to go ahead and say Kirby's like Kalen in the sense where once he picks his guy, that's his guy. It is what it is. And it's going to take a lot. It's going to take the floor just breaking and collapsing and all kinds of things for him to even consider pulling Gunnar. I think at this point, I think Gunnar's our guy. It's going to look ugly. But also, I just think that once we do start playing in these conference games, like this weekend, we're going to be asking a lot more of Gunnar. I think they just kept him within a bubble this week, and that kind of did a disservice to him in terms of fan perception.
I agree with that. And then lastly, you were talking about Dwight Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he should get the nod behind Nate Frazier? Make him and Frazier and Phillips the 1-2, or do you still like Chauncey Bowens as well?
Oh, I like Chauncey. Strong runner, patient runner. Seems like a really smart kid. And he holds on to the goddamn ball. I think if Frazier, I don't think we would see as much of those two if Frazier didn't have those concerns about holding on to the ball. I think you would see them every now and then to relief, but I mean, son, you fumbled on our first drive. Man, and you know, and then you start to talk right before halftime that goal line stand that's concerning football for me. You know, I will say this though. I think that Frazier is catching a lot of heat for not getting in that end zone, but we're ignoring the fact that I'm not into calling these kids out, but when your right tackle completely whiffs a block, creating a situation where your running back has to take on 2 players instead of 1 player, then no shit, he didn't get in the end zone. And I didn't see many of our Georgia fans even bringing that up. Like, Ja Jackson completely whiffed on his blocking assignment, causing a situation where your running back has to fight through 2 players instead of 1. So I will I will shoot him some bail on that, but it's the ball security that's the concern for me when it comes to Nate Frazier. Like, I need to know you're going to be able to protect the ball. Like, we're about to go into a slate of games against some teams that that are ready and willing and able to take that ball from you. So I still have faith in the guy, but I do have some concerns on the right side of the offensive line. I think I hope Ernest Green is actually healthy and back this week, because he didn't play this game. And you could tell on the right side, more so, you could tell it was some guys that were this was their first time being out there, and it kind of looked that way. So that is concerning.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, like I said, my optimism is definitely with this defense. My concerns are with the offense, but I do believe we open some things up offensively with Gunner, allow him to run, allow him to do some of the things that he wants to do. And then things are going to open up downfield. I need to see more passes in the middle of the field from him. I don't need to just see bubble screens all day. Like, I know the joke is Bobo and his bubble screens and all that, but that was literally all yesterday. So I don't know.
And then I think the last one that I had was, do you think the weather delay had anything to do with stalling the offense out?
No, because that our offense was like that before. I think if anything, the weather delay helped us, because that just allowed that team to actually reset and go out there as though it was a new game. So I wouldn't even say the weather delay hindered us as much as it possibly helped us.
Okay. Yeah. I just, sometimes you get humming and then you get into a long little weather delay, but yeah, y'all really weren't humming.
It wasn't no humming, son. It wasn't no humming, my boy. It wasn't no humming. It was no humming. But yeah, man, that was that game. I'll take a win. I'll take another win. But a win is a win, man. All right, Eric, before we get out of here, man, we got to get these pick'ems going on. I'm going to let you lead the way, man. We got Wisconsin coming to Alabama. I want to know, what are your thoughts?
So, Ty did an interview either last night after the game or earlier today. I think it was probably last night because, they're probably still asleep. Just because we did it one week doesn't mean anything. We just got to go do it the next week and the week after that. Now, to me, that's the perfect response to the last two games. That shows me his mind is right. We're taking it a game at a time, and that's what we need to do. Wisconsin is not a traditional Wisconsin team. They look super disjointed. I do believe I have Alabama winning the game. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. I don't know if it's going to be, it could be close. It could be a blowout. I don't really 100% know. Depends on what Alabama team shows up. But I got Bama. Of course, I have to pick Bama.
I'm with that. Wisconsin, first game, they look kind of all over the place. But second week, they kind of locked in this past weekend and put up some points. It looks like their quarterback is the key to that offense, and it's tough to go in Tuscaloosa and win unless you got a really good team, man. It's only been a couple of these teams that we can even say have beat Alabama on their own field, and I don't think that Wisconsin team is special enough to actually do that. So I'm with you. I'm picking Alabama. Next game, probably our favorite team of the season so far. I see you're rocking their sweatshirt. We got USF. They've already dominated and taken over and planted their flag. They're in the swamp. Now they're playing my guy, Carson, and the Miami Hurricanes this weekend. I want to know, Eric, do you think that the USF takeover of the state of Florida continues this weekend?
I don't know if you saw it last week, but my heart really wanted to pick South Florida in that
Yeah,
South
you
Florida
did.
game.
Yeah.
But I had mentioned that DJ Lagway was my Heisman dark horse. I think we can safely throw that out the window. I again really, really, really want to pick South Florida,
Do it.
but my heart wants me to pick South Florida too. However, I didn't last week, and look what happened. So, I guess I'm going to pick the Hurricanes, but my heart wants to pick South Florida.
USF showed me a lot this past weekend, man. They're a tough team. They're tough. They're very well coached, and they're a disciplined team. And those teams travel well. Teams travel well. Like, you can't give them enough credit for how disciplined they were in comparison to how undisciplined Florida was. Hell, part of the reason why they lost this game was due to them being so undisciplined with the spitting. And I shout out my guy Jalen Carter. But USF, I like their team. Their quarterback throws the ball super weird. It's a strange team. It's one of those you want to watch them. You're not picking them for a national championship or anything like that, but you do like the fact that they're a tough, disciplined team. But I gotta stick with my boy Carson. Carson's gonna cook them. He's been super efficient first 2 weeks of the season. He's basically shown a lot of Georgia fans. I'm not going to say us Georgia fans because I've always enjoyed Carson Beck for at least the skills that he had. He's showing a lot of Georgia fans that he was fully capable of throwing the ball everywhere. It's funny how much better a quarterback looks when the wide receivers are actually catching the goddamn ball. It's almost amazing how much better a guy looks when a guy can catch a goddamn ball. So I got Miami winning. I got Ruben Bain having a big game against USF and ending the Cinderella run that they're currently running.
3, I guess.
Yeah.
Stats real quick on this game. Apparently, I just Googled the Miami South Florida thing just to see like what time it was, what channel it was on, all that fun stuff. And this post popped up. USF is the 9th team in college football history to win games at Florida State, at Florida, and at Miami. 42 teams have tried. Nice. That's crazy to me.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Secondly, they are going to be on the CW.
Yeah.
This actual big probably matchup of 2 top 25 teams is on the CW.
I love it.
What are we doing?
I love it.
I had a third point and it went straight up. Oh, even so, I was doing some research, trying to figure out where Alabama stood in percentages with playoffs and all that. Even with a loss to Florida, USF was an 81% chance to make it as the Gen 5 team. That was putting a loss to Florida in there. So if they didn't lose to Florida, I wonder what their percentage of being the Gen 5 or the whatever we call it.
Right.
The non-power 5 conference, whatever.
Right.
I wonder where that puts them at now. Because that was a big win, and that's 2 straight wins against top 25 opponents.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to start to question. UNLV is still undefeated. It's a huge battle for that 12th spot.
Shout out Nico.
Oh, jeez, man. Yeah, that is over with. Like I'm glad he got paid prior to, because I
I'm
don't
asking
see it,
for a
man.
refund.
Heck yeah, a cup. You guys stand in line, because yeah, that one sucks. But yeah, Miami's gonna win. Carson's gonna continue looking good, even though it's against a more challenging opponent, I will say. But I think Ruben Bain and that Miami defense is gonna go ahead and win that game for Miami. All right, next game. We got Clemson going to the Flats and playing against the Engineers, those nerds at Georgia Tech. Eric, who wins and why?
Wreck 'em.
You're picking Georgia Tech?
I am.
Nice.
I like Haynes King, and I like the running back Haynes.
Okay.
I was not impressed with Klubnik last night
Right.
against the Troy Trojans. That was a struggle bus win.
Yeah, it was.
Georgia Tech is a more complete team than Troy.
Mm.
Now, I don't necessarily know if Clemson was just kind of bullshitting their way through a game, if they were overlooking it
That
to
was a
get to
weird
Georgia
game.
Tech.
That was a
It
weird
was
game.
a weird game. Again, another weather delay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Something about this Georgia Tech team tells me that we're going to be seeing them in December.
Mm.
I want to preface that by saying, like, Dabo has done what he's needed to do in terms of he's finally sucked it up and used the portal.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Klubnik is just reading too far into his own hype.
Mm.
Could be
Okay.
completely wrong.
Okay.
But I got Tech winning in a close game.
Okay. I feel that. And mind you, last year Georgia Tech was undefeated at home. So
Yep.
we gotta at least give them credit there. Last year they did beat Miami on their field around this time of the year. And, Georgia Tech is a formidable opponent. I gotta go with Clemson, though. I do think, even though I like Haynes King is currently like 50% health right now. It just seems like the kid is just stitched together with some super glue and a prayer right now. And he's about to play against a tough defense. He's about to play against a talented, tough defense, Peter Woods, and that linebacker core. Shout out Sammy Brown, who I'm still upset he went to Clemson over Georgia. I still, even though Cade does look a little mid without his guy Antonio Williams, I do think Clemson comes out the victor of this game. Even though I do like Georgia Tech. And that's weird. I'm a Georgia fan, I know, and all that. But I do like that team. That's a tough team. That's a well-coached team. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Clemson on this one. I'm gonna go with Clemson. All right, final game, Eric, that we're gonna pick before we're heading out. We got my guys, the Georgia Bulldogs, headed to Tennessee. Last I saw, we are going into this game as 7-point favorites, Eric, surprisingly. So I want to know, Eric, who's going to win, Georgia or Tennessee?
Don't make me regret this by picking Georgia. Please don't go into Neyland and let those garbage workers, beat y'all's ass. Please don't do that. Because I know y'all be more apt to kicking our ass in 2 weeks if y'all lose, or if y'all lose to Tennessee. And B, I just don't want to hear those Rocky Tops.
Oh, God.
And that stupid fucking song get stuck in my head for the entire weekend. I got Georgia. I can't pick Tennessee. I rooted for Ohio State last year over Tennessee. That's how much I hate that school.
That's fair.
It's fun fact, it's one of 2 stadiums that I've actually pissed on.
Nice.
Nice. So yeah, I have to pick Georgia. No other reason than I just absolutely hate the Volunteers of Tennessee.
That's fair. That's a good enough reason for me. What's the second stadium?
Ben Hill Griffin, actually.
Oh, nice. That's definitely
Auburn's on my list too.
Ah, yeah. Jordan Hare. Yeah. I'll be there.
Gotta pee on that. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pick Georgia in this game simply because history tells me that Kirby understands and knows whatever the hell Josh Heupel's doing on that offense. Heupel has not scored more than 20 or so points. And even though my offense is currently looking very mediocre and very struggle bust themselves, I do believe that we can score more than 20 points on this defense. I did get a chance to watch Tennessee's dominant performance against East Tennessee State or whatever the hell their name was. There are holes in that team. And I do think we're going to let Gunner be Gunner, run around, open up passes. I don't think it's just we're going to be running screens all day like we did this past week. Hopefully, Bobo. Please, Mike. Please, please, please don't make me turn against you, my brother. But I do think we do open up things against this team. I expect a good game from Colby Young against Tennessee. I expect us to be able to run the ball against this team. And I got to watch the injury report and see if Ernest Green is actually playing. But hopefully, he is, because we need him. I do expect it to be a closer game than what I would prefer. But I do have Georgia winning and moving on and getting ready to face your guys. So that's the name of the game. All right. So, listeners, once again, we're Dogs versus All Y'all, college football podcast that talks not just Georgia football, but all things college football. I'm Adrian. That's Eric. Y'all enjoy your week. Enjoy some NFL football today, Eric. I know you're going to be loving everything, and hopefully Lamar does his thing tonight. That's what I need. That's the only thing I need. Yeah, that's what I need. But y'all, we'll see you next Monday. Have a great week. And as always, go Dogs.
Trust your preparation. Your ass is prepared for this shit for fucking 365 days. I think about the fuckers in that locker room. Think about getting our opportunity. All the shit you went through this week to get ready for this game, now is when you pay the fucking price. You go out there with energy, enthusiasm. Hey, now, ain't nobody in this room should be cautious. Ain't nobody in this room should be nervous about shit. Go out here and fuck their ass up. Don't think about scoreboard. Don't think about shit. You think about knocking the shit out of them. Did you hear what Box said on Monday? When I sat in that fucking meeting, I wanted to go fucking play right then. Tore your shit up out here. 2 years ago, fuck your shit up. Goddamn pride and joy tells me you fuck these guys up. You go play the right way. You play the right way. You knock their ass off. You stay off the fucking ground. You tackle the fucking man with the ball. The shit's easy. Look at the right shit. Punish their ass on offense and kick their ass on special teams, guys. It's about who the fuck we are. I believe in you. Let's go.